All right.
Okay, so your turn. Is a cancer moonshot possible? What can we learn from past government moonshots? Not sure what CRISPR, that has to do with CRISPR, but I'm perfectly happy to talk about that.
Right. So the cancer moonshot is this initiative that Obama has announced, where they're going to basically try to sort of take a lot of the most innovative kinds of research on cancer and really push them hard to try to get some serious advances in the treatment of cancer. It's kind of an odd thing, I have to say. I mean, I wrote about this for Stat, and it's interesting that Obama has, I think part of his legacy will be several very big science projects. There's this Cancer Moonshot, personalized medicine, the Brain Initiative, things like that. Like Obama does think seriously about science. But I mean, he is working in a sort of, this environment, which is very different than in earlier periods of history. I mean, to just invoke the moonshot is really tricky because, basically, what they're saying is that what they'd like is about $1 billion to use, to invest in some of these new technologies, some of which may involve CRISPR. You could basically sort of...
I was teasing about that.
Oh, yeah, no, there is a CRISPR hook here. Like, you'd basically pull out your immune cells, CRISPR them, so basically program them so that they will recognize your cancer cells, put them back in you, and then they just destroy your tumor. That's the idea. That's, one of several ideas that's going on right now.
I thought it was a very bad idea.
You think it's a bad idea?
Announce it as a moonshot. The difference between trying to figure out and do something about cancer and sending a man to the moon is that in 1961, when Kennedy announced the Apollo program, we knew how to do it. It was a matter of engineering our way to the end, but we knew exactly how to do it. We knew the laws of physics that were required. We knew the problem of getting people in orbit. We knew the energy requirements. We knew how to build the rockets. We had to develop guidance systems, et cetera, but we knew how to do it, and we had the manufacturing capacity, the engineering capacity, the technical knowledge, or the ability to learn what we needed to know. That was all there, okay? When you look at the cancer, it is a very, very complicated disease. It is not one disease. It is many diseases, in the sense that there are cancers of different organs. There are different kinds of cancers. The genetics of it is not well understood at all. And throwing money at it is not a bad idea, but it has to be invested in the research in a way that is plausible in the dividends it will return, okay? So I think that intensifying the degree of investment in our understanding of and seeking better understanding of and clinical treatments of cancer is a good idea. At the same time, we have to understand about cancer that we are in a long-running war with the disease, and that in 1900, a very distinguished physician here in New York, whom we would call nowadays an oncologist, said, reviewing what people knew about cancer, that said the fact of the matter is that today what we know about cancer is virtually nothing. Why it happened, et cetera. And then we could say 100 years later in 2000, let alone even more so in 2015, we can say we know a great deal about cancer. It's taken us 115 years to get there. And we're going to be able to say in the year 2100 that we know a great deal more. So we are in the position of investing not necessarily to save our lives or even the lives of our children, but to save the lives of our descendants down the road. This is an act of faith, okay? This is an act of commitment, of vision for the future, and good for Obama for reaffirming the necessity of investing in that project.
I think,
but to call it a moonshot raises expectations that are counterproductive.
Yeah, and I mean, cancer, there have been expectations raised in the past, the war on cancer that Nixon
Right.
declared. And, we learned a few things out of the war on cancer. We learned certain genes that are
Oncogenes came out of the war.
oncogenes, which are
but
linked
not,
to cancer.
not the way it was originally intended.
Right, exactly. On the other hand, I mean, it's hard not to read some of the new studies on cancer treatments and feel like things are really taking off. I mean, cancer immunotherapy and some of these other techniques, they're actually really exciting compared to sort of the medieval techniques that we've used in previous decades.
Well, I hope you're right. I've heard it before. And so that makes me skeptical in coming at this from my sort of historian's long and skeptical perspective. But as I say, I think we're going to know more. I think we're going to be able to treat more cancers and so on. But I also think that cancers are inherently part of life.
Yes, we're multicellular, so we're kind of stuck with them.
That's right.
I agree, but I think maybe cancer will be like a manageable thing that people like.
Oh yeah,
that
in
people
some
will just
cases it
deal
is.
with.
In some cases,
Just keep it at
already is.
bay, or knock it out here and there. Not like having a cold, but anyway. Okay. If you could change humanity in one way, what would you change?